ये स्क्रिप्ट तैयार की है राकेश वर्मा ने। Just for a second, imagine a world where the school you go to, the job you get, or your place in society is decided for you, just based on who your parents were or your gender. How would that feel? It sounds like a nightmare, right? But for a long time, this was the reality in our country. And to change that reality, from the ground up, our constitution gave us one of the most powerful gifts imaginable, the right to equality. Today, we're going to unpack this incredible gift piece by piece and understand its story in the simplest way possible.
So let's stop thinking of equality as some heavy legal term. Instead, let's look at it as a story told in 5 amazing parts, with each part teaching us what it truly means to be equal in a free country. The first chapter of our story is all about a powerful promise. This is the very foundation on which the entire building of equality stands, and it's called Article 14. So, what does Article 14 say? It's actually very simple and very direct. In the eyes of the law, every single person is equal. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen of India or a foreigner, if you're rich or poor or what position you hold. Nobody is above the law. This is what we call equality before law. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Article 14 is like a coin with 2 sides. The first side, equality before law, means the law won't give anyone special treatment. The rules are the same for everybody. But the second side is equal protection of laws. And this goes a little deeper. It means that the law will apply equally to people in similar situations. Think of it like a race. The first rule says all runners have to start from the same line. Fair enough. But the second rule makes sure that if a runner has been held back for years, they might get some extra support to bring them up to the same level as everyone else, so that the competition is actually fair. That right there is the real essence of true equality. And the Supreme Court explained this beautifully in the famous Maneka Gandhi case. Justice Bhagwati said that equality and randomness are sworn enemies. Where you have the rule of law, you have equality. But where you have the random decisions of one person, you have tyranny. What this means is that any action by the government can't be random or biased. It absolutely has to be fair and just. All right, let's move on to the second chapter of our story. In this part, the Constitution starts tearing down the walls that have divided our society for centuries. These are the walls of discrimination and untouchability, and Articles 15 and 17 are here to demolish them completely. Article 15 gives a very clear and strict order to the government. It says that you cannot discriminate against any citizen based only on their religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Shops, hotels, wells, roads, basically all public places are open to everyone. This was a revolutionary step to bring society together. But wait, there's a very important twist in the story right here. Article 15 also says that if the government makes any special laws to help women, children, or socially and educationally backward classes, it won't be considered discrimination. This is just like our race example. Giving extra help to those who have been left behind is what real equality is all about. And this is where the foundation for reservation in our country is laid. Now we come to a part of the story that offers no compromises, no exceptions. Article 17. It says, untouchability is a crime, full stop. It's an absolute right, meaning there are no 2 ways about it. To enforce this, the Protection of Civil Rights Act was passed in 1955, which makes practicing untouchability in any form a punishable offense. Let's move to the part of the story that ends the inequality that comes from high-sounding titles and inherited status. This is Article 18, which puts an end to hereditary titles. The goal of this article is crystal clear: to create a society where a person is known for their work and their merit, not by hereditary titles like Raja, Maharaja, or Rai Bahadur. Of course, titles earned in the military and in education, like general, doctor, or professor, are allowed, because you get these through hard work and skill, not by birth. And now we've reached the most important and probably the most debated part of our story. This is Article 16, which talks about giving everyone an equal opportunity in government jobs. This is truly a massive balancing act. The question comes up again. How can you guarantee a fair chance when not everyone in society is starting their race from the same line? This is where Article 16 is put to the test, and it's where the system of reservation really takes a concrete shape. So, the most important thing is that Article 16 guarantees every citizen of the country an equal opportunity in government jobs. This covers everything, from recruitment to promotions to salary. No one can be discriminated against based on their religion, caste, sex, or place of birth. That's the principle. But how do you apply this in reality? The answer came from the landmark Supreme Court case Indra Sahni. This case helped us understand the complex system of reservation. The court explained two types. First, there's vertical reservation. Think of this like setting aside a separate quota of seats for certain communities, like SC, ST, and OBC. Then, there's horizontal reservation, which works within those vertical quotas. For example, let's say 27% of seats are reserved for OBCs. If within that 27%, some seats are specifically set aside for women or persons with disabilities, that's horizontal reservation. In that same Indra Sahni case, the Supreme Court drew a major line in the sand, and that number is 50%. The court said that to create a balance between social justice and administrative efficiency, total reservations should not exceed 50% under any circumstances, except in some very extraordinary situations.
So, three big principles came out of this case. First, the 50% cap on reservations. Second, the creamy layer principle, which means that people from backward classes who are socially and economically well off should not get the benefit of reservation so that the benefits can reach those who need it the most. And third, at that time, the court had ruled that reservation would only apply to initial hiring, not to promotions, although Parliament later amended the Constitution to change this rule.
So there you have it, the complete story of the right to equality in 5 chapters. Now, let's put the whole picture together and create a quick guide to remember it all. This table is perfect for a quick revision. Article 14, everyone is equal before the law. 15, no discrimination. 16, equality in government jobs. 17, the complete end of untouchability. And 18, no hereditary titles. Clean and simple. So from our entire discussion today, there are 4 key things to remember. First, Articles 14 to 18 together make up the right to equality. Second, Article 17, the abolition of untouchability, is an absolute right with 0 exceptions. Third, Article 14 applies to every single person on Indian soil, not just citizens. And fourth, and this is crucial, reservation isn't discrimination. It's a tool, a ladder for those who have been held back for centuries to help them finally stand on equal ground with everyone else. So now you know the complete framework, the whole story of the right to equality. But this story isn't over. It's being written every single day, all around us. The question now is, how do you see this story of equality playing out in the world around you? Remember, when you understand these rights, you're not just a citizen. You become an aware and a stronger human being. What you've learned today is another step towards building a wiser, better version of yourself.
So, my friends, if you found this information useful, just take 1 second to like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Because your small supporter helps awareness-based educational videos like this
reach more learners.
And yes, do tell us in the comments which topic you want in the next video. Thank you so much. See you again in the next video with new knowledge.